What's up? It's Marco, Sage of Soccer, and today I'll be talking about the US U20 team's 3-1 win over Peru in the Revelations Cup. It was a pretty good performance by the US squad. Got off to a bit of a slow start, conceded a goal early, but was able to fight back for a win. I love seeing that fight in the team. A lot of times you see a squad go down and that's just it. They lay down for the rest of the game, but no, this team was able to fight back and had some very good spells throughout the game. The team was rotated a little bit, probably with one eye on the Mexican game coming up, but we still had a very talented team, and I wouldn't call it rotated. It's just, I think with our U20s group, we kind of have like two different squads of players that we kind of rotate in and out, and this is just the one squad of players. For this game, it went kind of back and forth. Peru had a couple of good moments. The USA had, I think, a couple more moments of dominance. Peru's one goal came off of a set piece. They had one other good chance that Alex Borto, our goalkeeper, had to make a good save on. But I think overall the U.S. were making more chances and were pretty deserved winners for this game. Getting into individual performances, and keep in mind that for this game, the field wasn't that great. There was pretty muddy, so for more technical players, it could have hurt them, and you could really see them on the field when Gutierrez got fouled on that free kick that Brendan Craig scored off of. He didn't have his jersey number. He was just mud stained for the rest of the game. He wasn't a 17. I think that was his number. And then also they did just get off a plane. Always going to be tough going to this tournament really soon. Pretty quick turnaround for a lot of these players. And they did deal with an earthquake, so mentally they're not there. That's all understandable. So putting context on that game. But that being said, starting out, we had some very good performances, especially by our center backs in the first half. They did a great job. Brendan Craig and Justin Che had a really good performance. Justin Che was really proving that he can play a center back at this high level. He was doing very well, keeping track of the Peru runners. He's making some good passes, and just looked a lot more composed than last time he was in this group, which was over a year ago, so that growth does make a lot of sense. He just looked confident on the ball, good defending, just looked like a really good center back. I'm excited to see him play a bit more. Unfortunately, it looked like Mauricio Cuevas, our right back, picked up an injury, so he might play outright for the rest of the tournament. But still, this was a very positive sign from Justin Che. And Brendan Craig might have been the man of the match. He had a great performance, just really solid defensively. We know his passing range. He was picking out some really good ones. One of the first half in particular, I think it was a one-touch. He had switched the field over to Jack McGlynn. It was really good, and he was a big part of this game. Obviously, his free kick goal, he's a threat on set pieces. When you have a center back who's good in the air taking corners, it's amazing there. He didn't take any corners today, but we saw that in the World Cup qualifying. Just really special playing the ball at the back, and his defensive attributes are really coming along well. And I think Brendan Craig, hopefully next season, will get a lot more time with the Philadelphia Union, because he might have the highest ceiling out of anybody in any of the Philadelphia Union players on that team, and that is saying a lot because Paxton Aaronson, Quinn Sullivan, Jack McGlynn, they're all looking really good. Then we got Mauricio Cuevas. I mentioned him. I thought he was getting forward pretty well. Cuevas, he got an assist on the first goal, good cross into Brian Gutierrez. And Cuevas, he's trying to make a lot happen, and in a game like this where it's kind of stalled out, I like that in a player. So he was giving the ball away a decent bit. His passes weren't always perfect, but he was pushing forward, trying to make something happen, and I like when players do that, and I think that was needed for this game, and if he doesn't have that assist, we might not crawl back into the win, so I thought it was a good performance by Cuevas, and I'm hoping that he'll be back, but if it's a head injury and it's bad, just rest him for the rest of the tournament, don't mess around with that. And speaking of Brian Gutierrez, Gutierrez, he was playing that false nine role that we've seen Paxton Aaronson play a little bit. He was also getting out wide a little bit, in a free role, I'd say. Every time Gutierrez was on the ball, he looked good. He scored a goal, he won the free kick in a dangerous area that Brendan Craig scored off of, had a couple good involvements. But he wasn't on the ball as much as I thought he could have been. He could have dropped in more, been more involved, helping the build-up, especially when you're playing a false nine. You expect your strikers to be able to do that. So, that being said, playing out of position, I don't think he's normally a false nine. So, just doing well when he was on the ball, that's a very good. You'd like to see that. And Alex Borto, our goalkeeper, he couldn't do much on the first goal that Peru scored. Made a pretty good save and wasn't bad with his feet. He was making a couple decent passes. He wasn't really under pressure too much, and when he was, he just kicked it as hard as he could. So you couldn't see too much, but decent performance. Then we had Jack mcglyn and Alex Alvarado in the midfield. I don't think they were up to their own standards. mcglyn, he was doing pretty well in build-up, helping out a bit, but he wasn't really finding the pass, finding the space that he really does. He really can, and just seeing him with the Philadelphia Union, how good he's been there, I thought he could have been a lot better today. But again, like, there's the context of this game, so not going to be holding against him too much. But I thought by his own standards he could have been better, and same with Alvarado. Especially in the first half, he did grow into the game and got a lot better in the second half, but he was making a lot of errors, and you really expected better because he was one of our better players in that CONCACAF tournament, so was expecting a bit more from him, but still solid performance. And then some guys who could have been a lot better on the day, rokus Puskas especially. Like, it's weird because I really like his upside because you see he's very technical on the ball. You can see the talent. You see his like physicality and the defensive work rate he has, and you could see the potential of him becoming a Tyler Adams like midfielder, or at the very least like Weston McKennie. Like, not at the very least, as well as a Weston McKennie or Yunus Musa like midfielder, like a box-to-box, maybe could be a 6. Like, you see the potential there, but he makes a good amount of mental mistakes. He hasn't had much playing time this year, which could be a part of it, but... And you don't really judge errors with young players too much, like it just happens, but it's becoming a bit of a trend, and with the talent that he has, you really want him to clean that up, because he just misplaces passes a lot, goes in too hard on tackles, gets a yellow card, like... I can see why he was replaced at halftime with Daniel Edelman. Like, I still really like his potential because there's a lot of talent there, but he has to start to put it to good use. Then I thought our left-hand side, Caden Clark and Jonathan Gomez, like, they were not at their best today. Gomez was at fault for the first goal, let his man get in behind him. And I thought he really wasn't defending or getting forward as well as he could have. He had a couple of decent moments going forward because he is a quality player, but I thought he could have been a lot better, and Caleb White is definitely going to get a look into the next game, and Gomez might be behind him at this point with the U20s because Wiley's playing a lot in the MLS, so you have to give him a look there. And Caden Clark couldn't get much going today, was having trouble really cementing himself, getting on the ball. He's not a winger naturally, so you can expect that, but a lot of other guys were making themselves known. Hopkins as well is having a bit of trouble cementing a spot in the game, like really making himself known. He is playing out of position as a winger, but again, like, he's somebody who you kind of have to have a role for him figured out, and I just wouldn't plan the team around Hopkins when we've got guys like Paxton Aronson in the squad, so it's kind of tough for him at the moment, and he was having trouble really making an impact on the game. Then for our substitutes, Daniel Edelman came on. I thought he did a pretty good job. Had some really good moments, like, especially when he just came on. Like, he had a couple of really good passes that I didn't really know he had in him. He was performing really well. It didn't really last throughout the game, but I really like the talent that I saw from him. Hopefully we can see that a little bit more. I'd definitely start him in the next game, see how he can do. Then Jalen Neal came on as a center back when Cuevas went out injured. And good job. It's tough to come on as a center back when you're a substitute, like, coming on mid-game and having to organize defense. That's always tough to do, so good job there, and thought he was pretty solid. Then Diego Luna, kind of similar to Mauricio Cuevas, he was trying to make a lot of things happen, and it didn't work out all the time. He was giving the ball away a good amount, but he made a couple of chances happen out of that. Sometimes you just gotta, roll the dice, try to take some chances, and eventually came with a goal because of that. Especially because we were up, I can't say that was a great performance because he was giving the ball away a good amount. Like, his first touch was a bit off today, but he came away with the goal, and he was looking dangerous when he came on. Quinn Sullivan had the assist on that goal. He was actually a pretty strong performer today, really good when he got his chances on the ball. You could tell he was ready to press. He was winning the ball back a lot, and a good assist on Diego Luna's goal. He didn't have too much to do, but good performance. And Paxton Aronson, he just is so good at this level. Made things happen a ton. Like, one really good play, beating his man, putting in a good cross. Like, I'm going to be excited to watch him against Mexico in the next game. I think it's going to be fun to see how he can do. And that's all the individual performances from today. I think overall we look the better side. Set piece goal doesn't really change that. Kind of struggled to make things happen in the final third. I'm hoping that Alvarado will have a better game next time. He'll make a big difference. Hopefully, he'll start Diego Luna, Paxton Aronson, Quinn Sullivan, probably Kevin Paradis. They're all come in, and I think it'll be a really fun game against Mexico next time. And that's my thoughts on the U20 team. I should mention that they're not the only youth team playing today. I didn't get a chance to watch the U19 squad or the U17 team, and I don't really want to talk about them because they're not really professional players. But the U19 squad got a 5-0 win over Malta, and it wasn't like a bad Malta team. They were pretty good. They have one player, Tristan Viviani. I talked about him a little bit before on their team. He could probably be in like the American squad as a left back. He's a pretty good player. So the U19 squad, they were looking pretty good. And U17 team, they lost their game against Slovakia, but they were playing they're playing up a year. Like we're playing with our 2006, they're playing with our 2005, and they're able to hang in there pretty well. So some good performances all around today. And yes, I'll talk about some good youth performances. Really looking forward to seeing this U20 squad play Mexico. Yes, all I've got to talk about. See you.